And bring in two community leaders now, Pastor Les Simmons from South Sacramento Christian Center, and then Tony McNeil, a community organizer with Faith in the Valley over in San Joaquin. Our discussion started much earlier in the day as we were anticipating this video coming out. The first thing I want to talk to you about, and in full transparency, we had this conversation before going on this show, is the generational trauma. Right. Talk to me about the generational trauma, because we were talking about even from my age to your age to your age. This is something that you guys have seen time and time again, right?
Right. Yeah, it is. It's so from the millennials, I'm Gen X, and then your father, we had the opportunity to speak with his father. My father, who's been watching this, is in his 70s, he's 75, and it's something that is repetitive. So it's something, he called me as soon as the video was released. He's angry, outraged, hurt, but this is something that is triggering trauma from him from early in his childhood and young adult years.
Yeah, and for me, it's, we've had a series of just intense officer-involved brutal killings, whether it was George Floyd, whether it was Dejan Flano here in this community, Joseph Mann, Stephon Clark. It's trauma on top of trauma, and here it is, this young man, Mr. Nichols, pleading for his life, calling out for his mom, beaten to death by 5 officers. It's traumatizing on all levels.
And Pastor Simmons, I know that we were talking about accountability earlier, and you were saying that we all have an accountability to play into this. What do you mean by that?
We are at this moment where we've been well before, as Tony just talked about. We've been here before. I think what could be different and what should be different is we all, meaning not only community leaders, faith-based leaders, advocates, but political leaders, city officials, and law enforcement across the nation should all be saying, not only is this wrong, not only are we standing together in this moment, but this is what needs to happen to change it so we don't have another moment like the one we are in right now.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. I can't say anything extra to that. This crosses race, culture.
Correct.
Yeah, you said it's
age.
no longer, this is no longer black and white.
Oh,
this
no.
is all of us.
Now this, and the truth of the matter is, it never was just black and white. So that's actual, that's a delusion. That's a myth. Is that because the trauma is, if you go back to the lynching days, it was traumatic for a white child to actually stand there and have to override their natural inclination that says what I'm looking at is wrong. Can you imagine that? To watch something, a lynching, and to have to force yourself to accept something that internally you know instinctively and intuitively, morally, that it is wrong. Well, that's no different. That's victimization and that's trauma too. We call it child abuse nowadays. And so we're looking at it across race, across culture. This is traumatizing for every race, every nation, every culture, every age. Correct. To have to keep living this over and over and over again. How many lives must be taken before we say, law enforcement, we need you to change culturally. The entire DNA and structure of our law enforcement structure must be gutted out and replaced. We need to do something different. This isn't working.
All right, there's a lot more that we're going to be talking about. What is next is one of the main things we're going to be talking about. So we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. We are continuing our discussion with Pastor Les Simmons from the South Sacramento Christian Center, and then Tony McNeil, who's a community organizer with Faith in the Valley out in San Joaquin. Something that we've really been talking about in this newsroom is the release of the video. As Becca mentioned, what do we show? How do we show? How much? What role do you think in the media plays in releasing a video like this? How can we best do our jobs when it comes to situations like this?
So first I want to applaud you. I want to applaud you for reaching out to the community. ABC 10 News has been very, very intentional about reaching out to the community that they serve in order to get the key organizers and community folks and stakeholders input in regard to what stories they should cover and how they should cover them. So reaching out, I want to applaud your whole staff for doing that. This is traumatizing, and it opens other wounds. So my heart bleeds for Stephon Clark's mother, his grandmother, his family, having to see this again. For George Floyd's family, having to see this again. I don't even want to keep going on because it's making me feel emotional. Releasing this video, it is traumatizing, it's opening new wounds. So I wanted to make sure that our community knows you don't have to keep watching it over and over again. Make sure that you protect your children and the vulnerability of your children. Remember, lynching is like abuse, right? Making someone watch it again. This was like unto lynching. To watch someone be brutally beat and then unto death it's criminal, and it's violent unto us to take it in. Know that it's traumatizing. Ask for help if you need help. Remember to breathe. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. And disengage from social media for a time.
Take a step back.
Take
if you
a
need.
step
Yeah.
back, push pause.
You know, for me, I think we are at a place to where we have been waiting for this video to come out, and the built-up anxiety around that and all the conversation, oh, there's going to be this or there's going to be that, builds up already the aggression that we saw displayed in Memphis with these 5 officers, right? That level of aggression, they brutally beat Mr. Nichols, and to the point of death. That level of aggression now across the nation about possible civil unrest is also could be leading to how community is being engaged in this very moment. Instead, there should be a moment or a response of, this is a us moment where we as a nation have to rethink our law enforcement and interaction, the accountability of law enforcement that prevents things like this from happening. This could be my son. This could be any of our kids. They said the description, young, black, male, blue jeans, hoodie, traffic stop. That's my son, right? The fear of that kind of interaction should never be in this type of, in our nation. There should be change. This is that moment for real change.
Before we go to break here, I do want to talk about what's next. You know, when we're looking at state, local, national, what's next? And I know we were talking about the Justice and Policing Act.
Yes, yes. So as an organizer, I organize locally and on a state level and on a national level. And so we at Faith in the Valley, we're partners with Live for USA, and we do a lot of national organizing. And so when we're sitting at the table with the Biden administration, this is one of the issues that we're pointing at. And so last year, the House passed it, but the Senate didn't, right? This year, now we need the House and the Senate to pass it again. But that justice, this Policing Act, it needs to pass on a national level so that there is national policy to hold law enforcement accountable for being, they need to be tried, they need to be sentenced, they need to be held just as accountable as we are. Do you know that there are more rights in the police officers' Bill of Rights than there are for the citizens of the United States of America?
I did not know that.
I encourage the United States of America to read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think is next?
Yeah, well, first, to the Nichols family, my prayers, the support of this entire community is with this family. And those that are out in the community that knew Mr. Nichols, we are here. And I think as Sacramentans, we need to come together, all of us. We need to all say, not only was that wrong, but we're doing something about it.
And we're taking a breath
Yeah.
to take everything in.
And
Thank you.
breathe.
I'm so sorry I got to go to
Yes.
break, but thank you both so much for being here. We appreciate it.